So hey, those of you already following me might be a little thrown off by this. After all, editorials aren't typically a type of video I make, but it is something that I wanted to try for at least a few months now. This wasn't even the first idea I had, far from it. But I was watching the Nintendo Direct a few days ago, and got inspired to take some notes based on thoughts and feelings I had towards it. So I figured, why not? I have notes already. Why not make a quick video on it? It'll help me break the ice into getting into these editorial style like videos. That being said, this video will be focusing on the games that personally grabbed my interest the most from the Nintendo Direct, but I do plan on at least briefly acknowledging every game that I can. If you somehow missed the Nintendo Direct despite how late this video is compared to all the other reaction videos you've probably seen online, I do recommend watching the Nintendo Direct for yourself, and I'll try to remember to include a video card or link to it in the video description. It's first in the Direct anyway, so let's get this out of the way. Regarding the Scarlet and Violet DLC that they showed off, I don't really feel like I got anything out of it, and I can't really tell if it's because they barely showed off anything, or if it's because the DLC is actually going to be as empty feeling as it seemed. Because there was gameplay in there, but there wasn't really anything to make it feel that much more distinct or better than the base game. It just felt like more of the same at most. Like sure, there was new Pokemon, but even like the showcases, like when you look beyond the parts that were not CG, like when they showed off the legendaries and that, it just felt as static, if not more so than the original game to me. And I wasn't really that impressed with roaming around the maps. Then again, we barely got like 15 seconds of it, and it probably wasn't for me in the first place because I kind of have a mixed feelings about Scarlet and Violet as a whole, and my interest in the DLC was kind of low to begin with, so it would have taken a lot to actually impress me enough to buy it. Though, so I don't end this off on a totally negative scope. Tiny little bit we saw of that arena area from the second DLC gave me a funny thought of what if this was how they brought back the battle facilities from Gen 3 and 4. That would be neat. Then there's Sonic Superstars. Not completely new. They did show this off a bit at Sega Showcase, I think. I'm more familiar with the Sonic Twitter posting it on their Twitter, and then it's showing up in my algorithm feed. So I might be a little more biased towards it just because I've seen the game elsewhere in even better light, but I will say it definitely does look nice overall, and if I'm in the mood for the Sonic when it comes out, I'll pick it up. As for some more detailed thoughts, I did really enjoy the sprite art style of Sonic Mania, but this art style is pretty good too. It gives me the feeling of Sonic 4 but done better, which is good because I know that like the visual style and feel were some of the biggest downfalls of Sonic 4. So the fact that it's a 2D game that seems to be learning from the lessons of Sonic 4 is already a great start. It even gives me a little confidence in other 3D games working out, not just Sonic. The 4-player co-op looks nice so far, and hopefully it'll pan out. I just got done watching some reaction videos kind of wondering how co-op's gonna work when the whole concept of Sonic is speed, and a lot of platforming multiplayer games already struggle with keeping all the players on screen as is. It's a thought I didn't think of going into and watching the Direct, but now that it's been put in my head, I can kind of reflect on it and see where they're coming from. I have seen some reaction videos of people who've actually played the game though, and they seem like they were having a real good time with it, so that gives me a bit of confidence as well. The new gimmick of the Chaos Emeralds seems really interesting, and I'm curious to see how it pans out in the final game. Barely got to see 2 from all the footage that's been online, but I do like the concept of making the hunt for each emerald feel special by having each one give you an ability to use, I assume not just to beat the game, but on your hunt for the other emeralds. And shoutouts to the love that Amy's been receiving in classic 2D games as of late. It's nice to see. So, I still find it funny how, right before the Direct, I had a tweet basically saying, it feels like forever since we've gotten anything from Mario. There's been spin-offs here and there. You got Mario Maker to give the 2D fix. There was that side mode they had for the 3D World remake that is essentially just a mini Mario game. But beyond that, there hasn't really been any Mario platformers, new ones at least, since Odyssey, which was pretty much at the beginning of the Switch's lifespan. So, of course, the moment I say that was when they decided to go, here, have all the Mario. Starting off with the biggest surprise of the Direct for me. They're actually remaking Super Mario RPG, and it looks real solid. Really enjoyed the art style that they decided to go with for it. My only criticism, which is more of a nitpick, was I don't think they needed to scrunch down Mario and Peach to fit the art style. I think they would have looked perfectly fine with more normal proportions. But that feels more of a nitpick than anything. I got a feeling once I actually start playing the game, I won't even notice. Speaking of playing the game, yeah, it's like technically I feel pretty familiar with Super Mario RPG because I've seen so many playthroughs and it's such embedded in the pop culture, but I don't think I've ever gotten around to actually playing it. So this does seem like the perfect opportunity to actually do so. I've enjoyed a lot of the Mario RPGs like Classic Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi series, so I know it's something that I was always going to enjoy when I got a chance to play it, but the right opportunity to do so just was never there. Plus, I'm enjoying this trend of taking classic Nintendo series that everyone assumes were just dead. A pattern that I really started noticing when they first announced the Advance War remake, but I'm sure it's been going on a little longer than that. Gives me hope that maybe some other classic RPGs that I would love to see back in the public eye someday getting a remake treatment or something. And then they announced that there's going to be a new game starring Princess Peach, which looked really solid for the milliseconds that we saw of it. I don't know, we haven't seen anything of it, but I'm already feeling good about it. Also helps that we haven't gotten a game starring Peach since the DS era with Super Princess Peach and all, so it really felt overdue to give her some more time in the spotlight. I don't think it's going to be a Super Princess Peach sequel like some people are speculating, but again, still looking forward to learning more about it either way. And then there's the Dark Moon remake. Yeah, it's a thing. Like, hey, it's good that it's not going to just be left on the 3DS, so the Luigi Mansion fans will actually get a chance to play it outside of that console. But it's hard for me to get excited for the weakest entry in the Luigi Mansion series when I haven't even gotten around to playing any of the Luigi Mansion games in the first place. Still, I say this is a good thing if only because Luigi Mansion is a good series and deserves all the love it gets, even if it's for Dark Moon. Quick note to the Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope DLC announcement, only because I did not even realize that the first DLC came out for it. I'm still working my way towards the base game, and I am doing embarrassingly bad at playing it. I do gotta get back into it though, and the DLC does look nice. Again, when I've played the Sparks of Hope, I've really enjoyed. I don't even get why I fell off of it, but I just haven't had a good opportunity to get back into it. And another one that I'm kind of bringing up more because it reminded me of personal stories rather than actually being a game that I'm excited about. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince. I didn't even realize that Dragon Quest Monsters was a series that was still ongoing. Last I heard about the game was way back when I was a kid reading Nintendo Power magazines, and there was a little article about a Game Boy Color version of it. I still remember reading that article about the Dragon Quest game where you collected monsters like Pokemon, and it had a questionnaire that determined certain things at the beginning. And I still remember reading that article and finding the game incredibly interesting when I was a kid, but I just never got a chance to pick it up. Maybe someday I'll try the games? Maybe. Next game I want to give attention to is Penny's Big Breakaway. It looked pretty neat. I like the fact that it was made by Sonic Mania developers. It's pretty cool that they're branching out and making their own game, and the quality that they put into Sonic Mania is enough to convince me that it's going to be good. But then it had to go and be a good looking platformer on top of it. So I'm not quite as hyped for it as my peers. I'm probably not going to go on my way to buy it, but I do hope that it does really well. It's a game that feels like it deserves all the success it can get, and I definitely wouldn't mind playing it if it somehow ended up on my doorstep or something. Then we got the new Warioware game. It feels nice that we're getting more quote-unquote classic Warioware. Like, the last game didn't seem that bad, but it did still feel like it got in the way of the micro games themselves. Like, it felt like they weren't able to do as much with the micro games as they normally do with a WarioWare to accommodate for the whole multiple characters with slightly different gameplay style gimmick. So it's nice to see a WarioWare game that focuses more on the core elements that make WarioWare special in the first place. It's a slight bit of a shame that we're getting more WarioWare and not letting Wario go into other avenues of adventure like he used to, but I won't complain about his existence. Not high on the priority list of things for me to get, but I definitely won't complain about his existence. On the tangent of games that I feel are worth complaining about their existence though, let's just get that stupid pigeon game out of the way. If I had to pick a low point of the direct, it would definitely be Headbanger Rhythm Royale. For one, man, did anyone else feel baited with that whole opening transition? Like, you got the full realistic pigeon and like, your first thought is like, huh, is someone actually bold enough to do Stray, but with pigeons? That's a weird but interesting concept for a video game. And then you got the transition to the much more generic looking cartoon pigeons with the generic party game style, and just like, ugh. Man, that art style really doesn't vibe with me. It feels like the more I look at it, the worse it gets. I'm like, oh god, I just noticed while taking notes that they don't actually have beaks, they just have like lips. And I'm like, why? The closest thing the trailer had to a redeeming factor were the pigeon puns. Even then, your mileage will vary out of how much enjoyment you got out of the wordplay from the trailer. So hey there, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is my first time doing an editorial of this scale, and I definitely feel like I bit off more than I can chew. I thought I would have a quicker, easier time, considering I didn't have to write out a full script, but I vastly underestimated every other aspect of the process. This is definitely bigger than my normal videos, and of course I had to pick a time-sensitive topic to do for this first one. So, for the sake of my sanity, I decided to divide this up into a few videos. Probably 3, maybe 4. There's no set time for when they go up, unfortunately. I'm basically just going to release them as I complete them, as the Pikmin portion looks like it could be around the same size as this video, and everything else isn't that far off. The good news is that everything else that I plan for the channel will continue onwards like usual. We'll just have a nice little bonus in the mix of things. I do want to do more of these styles of videos in the future, and hopefully I'll pick topics that are a little less time sensitive. So if you want to stay tuned for more, you know what to do. You've probably heard enough YouTubers tell you what to do, so I won't say it directly, but you know what to do. Who knows, you might find something that you like on this channel already. I definitely got an interesting variety of playthroughs going on at the moment. This is kind of a little bit of a slum part because I was just in the middle of taking a break before I got this idea, but if you're new to the channel, they should be resuming at some sort of a schedule by the time you get caught back up. For one, I got a pretty interesting playthrough of Pokemon XD going on. A specialized playthrough of it that you probably haven't seen anyone done before. I do monthly vlogs in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I'm just about to start up a playthrough of Kirby Dream Land 2. It's going to be an edited down VOD of a stream I did, but that stream was my first time ever playing the game, so if you're curious to see someone get into a Kirby game for the first time, I would recommend staying tuned for that. In the meantime, there is a playthrough of Kirby Dream Land 1 already up on the channel. Again, thank you all for watching despite how late this is for a Nintendo Direct video. And hopefully I'll see you again for the next one, and that'll be pretty soon. Take care.